Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? And welcome to BRL Season 6, Round 4 here in España. Is probably one of the oldest tracks now on the grid. We had such an influx of new tracks. I imagine this is actually one of the older ones, but it's still a relatively nice, new, fresh circuit in the eyes of the classics. Either way, hope you're all doing well. My name's Characteristics, as always. It hasn't changed. And yeah, I mean, overall, I'm hoping this will be a good race. Obviously, we do have a bit of history when it comes to Spain, and in real life, anyway, it being a bit notoriously dull. Hopefully, we can avoid that. That would be absolutely wonderful. If we can avoid that, that would be just ideal. Either way, we've got oh dear, that's not good. I've just seen our Henson's just put in his in tier 1 general all of the right on the right hand side, like the status, you get like the network thing, just all red. The lot of them, every single one is red. That can't be good. That's terrifying, actually, if I really do think about it. Either way, qualifying has just started, so we'll just go through our normal shenanigans and have a little chat about sort of what happened out last time, how we're sat, where we looking at, basically. So after last race, this is what the championship is looking like. Mr. Cookie currently sits quite firmly at the top. He's beginning to gain quite a bit of momentum, isn't he? He won last time out, so he's only been improving so far. He got third, then second, now first. So I'm guessing, God, how on earth is he supposed to improve this? I'm not all that sure. He picked up fastest lap as well last time out, so he had a really, really good race indeed, putting him 75 points in total so far. Kresjanos 65, so now a 10-point gap is big, because the gap between winning and coming second is like 2 or 3 points, I think. So even if Mr. Cookies went ahead and sort of came second for the next couple of races, he's still going to be in the lead of this championship for quite some time. Prodigy is all the way down on 54. So this is becoming more and more of a two-horse race with every single race that passes. Jackalacko on 40. He's in pretty good fight at the moment. I'm going to say between him and Hazard is a really good fight, and we could definitely see that going a bit wild. I mean, Pablos, I know he's right in there. He came 7th in the first race, and then obviously second in the most recent race. So he knows how to put a couple of points in. Missing one race has caused him to lose quite a lot of points. Personally, I think he'd be up in the top 3 if he had shown up for Bahrain. So he's got some work to do if he wants to get up to the top. But he could definitely be somebody that we could see getting on there. A full race, apparently, with no sun. This might just be his internet, because there's a mix for me, green and yellow, a few red. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting stuff. Right. So, our Henson's just deleted it. Oh. Oh, I've deleted it. Whoops. How do I undelete that? I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh, sorry, R. Henson. I read it. Full wet. Right. Okay. Full wet race, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, that will certainly be interesting with no sun whatsoever. So, although I put it on approximate, so it's not on precise, so it could brighten up. We don't know yet, or at least I don't know yet. Anyway, right. So Constructors Championship, we'll get this done as well. Williams currently sit at the top, quite a firm lead now, 87 to 71 points of Red Bull. Let's be honest here, Red Bull are really fighting more with Ferrari in P3. They're 66 points, so 5 points between those two. It's pretty close battle, and then 16 to the top. So it's looking pretty good for Williams at the moment. Really good midfield battle between I'm going to say between McLaren and Alfa Romeo. 11 points split them. It's really, really close. I mean, even if you disclude McLaren and just look at between Haas and Alfa Romeo, those three teams, 55, 53, 52. Oh no, Alpine, sorry, not Alfa Romeo. Alpine down in 48. Mercedes not doing very well at all. Only 21 points on the board for them so far. So they've got quite a lot of work to do if they want to get themselves into a position where they can actually go for some good quality points on the championship. Either way, I've waffled for far too long. So shall we bring out? Yeah, let's bring this back out as always. I noticed last time out that I just couldn't hear any of the cars, so I'm just going to turn my audio up like substantially. I hope that you can actually this time hear the Elgato, because I've got it plugged in, and I think it was just too quiet for anybody to actually hear. So if that is too loud, do tell me. But you know what? It should be significantly better. At least that's how I'm hoping. Anyway. Right, so, what's that? 9 drivers so far putting a time in. A few more still to come through, I believe. Indeed, quite a few drivers, in fact, have still yet to come through. As of right now, Blackbone sits at the top of 111.3. Kresjanos only just not making that an immediate provisional pole. Half a tenth of a second. And apparently I can't talk today because the words aren't coming out my mouth like they're supposed to. So be prepared for that utter monstrosity. And that will be my pronunciations during this race because it's like I've been drugged. And rest assured I have had no drugs at all. Right. I've got to say, can we just have like a sigh of relief for the moment? Sector 3. What a glorious sector it is now. I've just realised that my track map will probably be outdated because it won't have the best of Sector 3 in it now, will it? No. Okay. I need to fix that. I'm not fixing it now. I've got absolutely no time to fix it, but that is something that needs fixing. And shall be fixed. Mr. Cookie coming around the second to last corner now. So much quicker than the old Sector 3, which was just awful. And coming across the line for a 111.6. Going to put in P6. Mr. Cookie told me just prior to the race, we were just having a little chat, and he said that he has done no practice whatsoever for this race. So, for a guy that's leading the championship, you'd expect him to, put some practice in, make sure he's properly on the ball, ready to go. No. Not in the slightest. Cookie is completely winging it today, and I wish him the very best of luck in doing so. Do apologise. Only a couple more drivers to come across the line now. In fact, I say that 2, literally 2 more drivers to set the time, and that is it. So we'll continue to watch. I guess we'll go with watching. Oh God, what on earth is that name? I'm going to go with Maul. We're going to go with, because Mull H3 WPT is not exactly an easy name to pronounce, is it? No, we're going to go with Maul, or MA. We'll go with Matt. I don't know what I'm on about. Either way, so if our Henson was telling the truth in saying that it's going to be a full wet race, which I imagine our Henson is quite a reliable wet race. Most of the time what he said does come through, so I do have good reason to believe him. Most of the cars, I'm guessing then, will have prepared for a wet race. So a lot of these, if at all any, the wet setups have been deployed. Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting to be the case. There's absolutely none of these cars are at all prepared for quali. These are fully race setup cars. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 that have said, you know what, if I can sneak a good qualifying pace, I can hold on to it during the race. But I think most of them will be, yes, let's just survive the race. Because if I don't put a wet setup on, it's going to go horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. Our Hensons, I'll be rocking down in front of you. I mean, at the moment, it's P14. It's a... Oh, no, that's not you. That's Jackalacco spinning, actually. Might want to turn myself up. I'll turn the Elgato down. I'll do that instead. Um, that probably works a little bit better, and then everybody can turn their volumes up. So, Jimmy, tell me if that's all right now. Tell me if you can still hear the cars making noise and whatnot. That'd be very helpful if you could be my audio analysis. So Balin has just gone and put in the fastest time at a 1:11.2. So not significantly faster than what we've seen at the moment, but certainly still faster. That's good, and the cars are a bit quiet. Okay, so if I just we'll go roughly in the middle. What about that, Jimmy? Give me the lowdown on that. You're currently P3 in Tier 2. Come on, Jimmy. Well done. Right, so how long we got? I think we've got about 7-ish minutes of qualifying to go. 8 minutes, 8.5. Purple sector 1 and 2. I don't. If you've got purple sector 1 and 2, why are you still typing this? Finish the lap, Jimmy. Don't be typing in this chat. I'm joking, obviously. So top 5, all bar Balin, who's just gone and set his time. They're all on outlaps. So I think it will be Bonium will be the first of the 4 to go. Yes, it is. So we shall watch him. Why am I suddenly decent at Spain? I have absolutely no idea, Jimmy, but I wouldn't be complaining if I was you. Oh, and Blackbone has just started it just behind his teammate as well. So that's kind of interesting. But he's probably too far behind, so he's not going to get any benefit of slipstreaming. He's literally just behind him for almost no real reason. So quite a few drivers out on track at the moment, going for flying laps. That's the word I'm looking for. Everybody that is in quali has set a time. Only one person will have not set a time. And what's it? That's Kadam, who I think had a rather bad nightmare right at the very start of qualifying. So, purple sector 2 for Bonium. He's 2/10 up on his times, which would put him roughly in between Balin and Blackbone. But he is going to have to do a pretty decent job, and I think that was a big wiggle out of the hill. And I think that might have just finished his qualifying lap. Yes, it has. So, not going to be his time this time round. Blackbone will be the next man through. He is going to the end, so he's got a good enough time. Is it going to be enough for provisional pole? Yes, it is. Is Kresjanos going to tip it? No, he is not. So Kresjanos improves on his time. Doesn't do enough so to catch up to Balin. And Blackbone goes top by some margin. John Meister through next. Can he do enough to get in front of Bonium? No, he can't. Only 0.03 of a second improvement on his own time. Nowhere near enough to catch up to Bonium. So it's going to be a big ask for that lot. Mr. Cookie goes and puts in a time there, just improving on his own, putting in P7. It's fine. It's fine from Cookie. I've certainly seen him do better in my time, but I've certainly seen him do a lot worse. Quite a few more drivers out on flying laps, so we're just, keeping tabs on them, sort of seeing how everybody is going through at the moment. Henson's just gone and put a lap in, I believe, P16 at the moment. 1.5 seconds splits the entire grid, with 1 second splitting from 6th down to 18th. So really close, actually. If more like 7th and 18th, I'm going to say is probably a bit more like it, but either way, second nevertheless is very, very close. As most people diving into the pit lane at the moment, just trying to get themselves done and turned around as quickly as possible. Interesting enough, Bonium has decided that he wants to go out for his fast lap early. He doesn't want to get any traffic in the way. He just wants to go for the lap as soon as he can. He's come straight back out after coming in. Obviously, Bonium, he was the driver that didn't make that second flying lap. So he'll be wanting to improve, hence why he's come out earlier. He might... No, actually, no, he's not making another lap. But if he does muck this one up, he will just about have enough time to dive back in and get in... what's it? Words. Nope, it's gone. Completely. Oh, I'm now P7. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, that's tragic. I've been battered. Oh, Jimmy. Come on. You can still get a top 5. You can still get a top 5. So just looking in the Tier 1 general chat, a couple of drivers are deliberating about the race so far. J-Horse, a casual 111 from Blackbone, as you can see up on the board there. Pablos improving his time. He's just gone P4. But Mr. Cookie saying, praying he's on a dry setup. J-Horse, surely he must be. I don't really know timings all that well. I'll be totally honest. I don't play this game. Really at all. I commentate over it. Oh, I barely race on it. So my knowledge of how fast it takes to go around these tracks is fully dependent on how fast these guys go around the tracks. And I can hardly remember what times they do. Once the race is done, straight out. I can't remember what happened last week. Either way, Bonium back into the pit lane again after setting a purple Sector 2. Sector 3 is causing Bonium nightmares. He's had to come back in again, and that is certainly problematic. I think Cheetah has just put a time in, so he's P10 at the moment, 6/10 to leader. Couple of people coming on to outlaps now. Prodigy will be the first man of them. No, he won't. Manik, he is the first. Then it is Prodigy, and then it is Mr. Cookie, then Hazard, and then Kresjanos. So pretty much everybody beginning to make their way out. We got 2.5 minutes of this qualifying session remaining, and there is a great filter of drivers coming through already, almost immediately. As I said, it was very quiet out on track. It very rarely stays quiet, and indeed it is proving itself to be true. So there we go. Manik starts his he starts his final flying lap of the evening or the afternoon. It's pretty bright there in Spain. As well, everybody pretty much is on outlaps, so they'll all be coming round. This is the issue for the Ferrari driver. The traffic he's going to have to deal with is going to be astronomical, because everybody's going to be going lovely and slowly on their outlaps, and he's going to catch all of them. Good thing though, down this back straight he might get a little bit of slip, but yeah, the yellow flags are plentiful going into here, as 2 cars getting out of the way there nicely. Another good benefit is this does help split up the plaque significantly. Just lead to it being a bit easier to understand who's where and what's going on. As now people are indeed starting their final flying laps. So, Manik came across the line there. He's still P18. Next man through, Mr. Cookie will be pretty soon. Prodigy is pretty soon after that. And little mistake there. 2/10 up on his time at the moment. So he's got quite a... Whoa! A big loss of the rear end. And a slight bit of oversteer. That puts Prodigy into a wall. And hence his qualifying is completely over. Mr. Cookie will be one of the next drivers through. But Kresjanos just before that. Right, so Kresjanos has improved on his time by a little bit, just shy of 1/10 of a second. It's not quite enough to really put himself up in contentions. He might just be able to go past Balin unless this Sector 3 has been absolutely masterful, which it may well have been. Is it going to be enough for provisional pole? The Ferrari comes across the line. It's a 1:11.2. That puts him P3. It's not going to be enough to improve on his position. Who's the next driver through? It's an Alpha Tauri and then a McLaren. That's Anthony. He dives into the pit lane. Hazard, nope. The other Snaff goes through. He's invalidated, so that's his time over. Pretty much, I think, his entire race. Bonium, next driver through for the most part. Aston Martin through. Next J-Horse, next man through. Can he improve? So 111.4, that puts him P5 as of right now. His teammate Jakalako, he goes P9. And Bonium, he goes P2. Just shy of his teammate who opted only... Oh my god, that was close. He was a thousandth of a second slower than his time before. That is outrageous. That is utterly, utterly outrageous. Kresjanos, though, has still got another chance, maybe. He's properly going for it. And, oh, just invalidating right at the very end there. Kresjanos will probably opt to come across the line, yes. He looked like he could have taken it there, but it wasn't quite to be. And it is. I can't quite believe I'm saying this. A Mercedes front row lockout. A Mercedes front row lockout. Yes, that Mercedes team that are currently P10 in the championship. How's that happened? That is mental. This is ultimate last to first challenge for Mercedes-Benz. They've just gone and put in front row lockout was currently sat on 21 points. Oh, this game is weird. So very weird. Right. The rundown. Blackbone is on pole position with a 111 dead from the Mercedes team, and his teammate starts P2. Bonium sits there. Balance P3 in the Red Bull, and Kresjanos P4 in the Ferrari. Pablos P5 in AlphaTauri, and J Horse P6 in Aston Martin. John Mester P7 in Alfa Romeo. Mr. Cookie P8 for Williams. Jakalako P9 for Aston Martin, and Hazard P10 for Alpine. Cheetah P11 for Haas, and Prodigy P12 for Red Bull. Anthony P13 for McLaren. Name I can't pronounce. P14, Snap P15, Arhenta P16, Alligator P17, Manik, Maul and Kadam rounds out our pack. The Hungarians are taking over Spain, and oh boy is it wet. Oh, that's not just a dribble of rain, is it? That's a full-on flood. Oh, this is interesting now. This is interesting now. You know what? I'm going to throw this on here in the hopes that it's correct. It might not be. But either way, welcome to Spain. And either way, it's good overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and turn 10 respectively. Other than that, it's lots of following corners, which I think is going to be exemplified in the wet conditions. Inters, but full wet conditions. Full wet all race. Yeah, it's a full wet race. Great. Okay. This is going to be interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in a very damp Spain. Everybody's getting started on the intermediate tyre, interestingly enough, as our Henson predicted, and it is pretty much chaos immediately, and I do think Blackbone is going to have a very comfortable start into the lead of this race so far. Yes, he is. Bonium defends well as Kresjanos tries to go around the outside here for P4. Can he keep hold of it? No. Balance gets a good cut across, and he keeps P3 for now. Pablos beginning to put a bit of pressure on the Ferrari. He might be able to tuck in, and that's a big mistake from Blackbone. He loses multiple positions. He's all the way down to P5. Must have gotten loose out of the exit at turn 3, as I think Pablos is going to be able to push through. Yes, he is into P2. Very good move as Ballant taken to the inside line there, defending from Kresjanos, doing so very nicely. J-Horse currently in P5 and his teammate P6, so they're doing a very good job to climb up the order a little bit, as Mr. Cookie under a lot of pressure just in front as well. The Ferrari trying to get past once again, does so this time round, and has opened the door for the Aston Martin to try and go up the inside, and it was a bit of a risky move going up that hill in these wet conditions, but they did indeed go for it, and it was indeed Ballant that managed to defend it nicely. As J-Horse does just stick a wheel in there, maybe not quite enough, and just gets an ever so slight touch on Ballant. And if you thought people were slipping out of this corner, think what it's going to be like in the wet conditions, as the Red Bull just proving my thesis immediately by getting loose, and so did J-Horse. That allowed his teammate Jakalako to get through there into P5. 5 immediately. And look at this. Pablos is going to go for the move here into turn 1. Can he get it done? He'll have the inside line. Bonium is going to have to defend round the outside. It's pretty good on the brakes, but it's really good on the acceleration from the Mercedes. Able to carry a lot of speed through. But on the switchback, he goes. The AlphaTauri's going all the way around the outside. Can he make that move work? Yes, he can. And it's becoming evident that the outside is almost the place to be in this wet weather, as many overtakes getting done on the outside, because you can just carry that momentum through so much easier when you're on the outside. And that is what's so important about a wet race, is being able to carry that momentum. Ever so slightly looking further back, and J-Horse is putting a lot of pressure on the Red Bull of Balance. Does not opt to go for the move into that corner, and I think that is wise. And we got a Ferrari stopped on track. That's Manik. He's got himself going once again, but oh no damage, just AI at the moment, unfortunately for him, as J-Horse continuing to put on copious amounts of pressure on the back of the Red Bull, and he's just about holding on to it. For dear life, Ballant is going to have to do an absolutely stellar job if he wants to keep hold of this position for many more laps. We're moving on to lap 3 now, as we come across the second, now into the final corner. And I think a good exit here for the Aston Martin could really open the floodgates into being able to go for a move. He's going to have a look on the outside, elect not to go for it. Now he is down the hill, gets a little bit more momentum, pulls out at that point, tries maybe a little switchback, quite possibly. No, he's had an absolute nightmare of a corner, and Jakalako is going to do what he did before and capitalise on it. But I think J-Horse is going to get the better mid of the corner, and now it's a drag race to the next. It's very late on the brakes for J-Horse, and he hasn't managed to get that move done in spectacular style, and that's allowed John to be able to try and swoop around the outside of Jakalako, caught slacking a little bit, and it's a little wiggle as he just gets loose on the exit of the corner, just pushing a little bit too far off of the normal racetrack, and that indeed loses John the place, so he subsides back down to 7th place. No positions gained after that entire fiasco. As, oh, what's happened to Mr. Cookie? He's ghosted. That's not good. It is all going terribly wrong. I'm going to see if I can try and get Cookie in. If it ever wants to load. There we go. Mr. Cookie. There you go. I know that I can't get him in because I don't have his username. Either way, Pablos has just gone fastest, a 124.5, but obviously I know if Cookie comes back in, he'll be able to get Manikin. But look at that, Cookie just tumbling down the order all the way down to P16 now as they go down the main straight. So it's not looking good for our championship leader. This could be a huge blow to his chances of any sort of championship hopes, as Kresjanos currently sat in P3. Really going to make the most of this, I imagine. He will probably want to get past Bonium if he can. That would be a huge help for him, as just there, TPO Anthony getting himself past this very busy midfield. In fact, the Alpine there, Hazard, taking a widely different line. And oh, Cheetah just losing the rear end there and showing how dangerous that can be. Now all the way down into P14, and he's massively lost the car. Into the gravel trap he goes, but luckily no damage made. How no damage made? No idea. But genuinely no damage made. Very lucky. As Anthony there getting himself down the inside of the Haas. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Once again, very tight moves. Everybody, it's almost like a move in slow motion, especially when you're so used to full dry conditions. Them sort of slowly creeping down on each other as they try and get a move done. J-Horse there going fastest at 124.5. The rain is still coming down at a rate of knots, so don't expect any dry conditions anytime soon. With rain like this, we're always about 4 laps away from dry conditions, so I think for now it's a full wet all race. I think is still kind of the standing point. I just know that I put the weather on approximate, so it could swing either. Oh, yellow flag very briefly there in Sector 1, but that's gone. Oh, I say very briefly. It was there for quite a while. It's just at the moment I looked at it, it went away. Just my luck. So most people sort of just beginning to figure themselves out a little bit. Nobody's going for too ludicrous of a move now. We still got this pack of 3 in the middle here, which just seems like it could definitely spew into an absolute mental move at any point. As well as the front runners as well. All of those are still very close to one another, except for Pablos, who is just running away at the moment. As John Meister has gone and picked up fastest lap at the moment. He sits just behind J-Horse. Full-blown safety car. What happened there? I don't know, but this is a good opportunity for me to try and get Cookie back in again. Ping Cookie another request. And actually, the more I think about it, the more that this is actually quite a good idea for me to get another drink, because I've nearly finished mine. Had 6 laps of racing. So what's that? That's 11. No. Oh god, I don't even know. About 18% of the race, I think. I don't know. I'm supposed to be good at maths. Oh well. Either way, we've had a chunk of the race so far. Pablos has already cemented himself as a serious contender to win this race. After clearly, sorry, I just had a huge gulp of drink there. He clearly, showed that he can pull away and he can stay away. You know, he's still 2.9 seconds away from the rest of the pack, which is quite funny to think about, if I'm honest. But, sorry, quite a few people coming into the pits for full wets. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That is something that we can talk about. Prodigy, full wets. Everybody else, inters. Okay, maybe not everybody's diving in for full wets. Maybe it's only Prodigy. I mean, the full wets are notoriously awful. So it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that everybody's just trying to hold on to the intermediates for as long as they can. By the looks of it, Mr. Cookie, his game's crashed. He's failed to join on multiple occasions. And he's decided, yeah, he's going to sit this one out. That makes logical sense. I mean, Cookie, if you want to come and join me in the comms box, if you're listening, I'd be more than happy. Like, don't think that I wouldn't be, because that'd be delightful. Oh, how would you? You wouldn't be able to, would you? I didn't think of that. Oh well. It's not like he DNF'd, was it? It's just he can't join. How'd he be able to join me up here if he can't join the session? Yeah, if he could join the session, he'd race, wouldn't he? Yeah, I haven't really thought that one through, have I? No. No, I have not. Right. How long of this safety car we got left? We're going to go for another lap. Hopefully, we only go for one more lap, but we might end up having to go for 2. Everybody P8 and above is yet to pit. Everybody below that has pitted at least once. Well, I say that actually. 2 people. What's that? That is Monique and Mr. Cook. 2 people that aren't in the session. Shocking, that. Oh dear, we're having outrageous lag spikes. I do apologise. I don't really want to put it down any lower than 720p, so I might just have to give it a whack. Do excuse me. Sort yourself out. Hopefully that fixed it. Usually taking a slapping to something or a hammer usually tends to fix it, so yeah, we'll go with it. Are we actually? Oh god, we're losing. Oh, that's not nice. Brentford as well. Depressing. Oh well. Right. I think we'll be in this lap. Oh, actually. Who's that? Is that Cheetah? Yeah. Oh, he might catch, you know. He might catch. It's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close. It's going to be very, very close. Can he catch? Can he catch? Can he catch? Will the safety car dive in? No! That's depressing. We're going for another lap. We are going for another lap. Oh well. Really not the be all end all, is it? I think this is an interesting space now because Pablos has a good opportunity to try and get away, pull away, and leg it. But if Bonium and Kresjanos can close him down and can hold him back, then that does kind of open the race up to sort of either of them. But it's evident which driver's faster. I think after just that first stint in the wet, we can already identify, because it's not like anybody's on different strategies. Everybody was on the same amount of tyre wear on the same tyres. And what was it? Pablos was just legging it. He was just flying away. So I think it's going to be pretty certain that he'd sort of run away with it. So I think if Bonium and Kresjanos can keep him back, it's going to be a close fight. If they can't, Pablos is going to leg it. Safety car in this lap. Woohoo! Right. Pablos shall lead us out. When's he going to go? When's he going to go? He's gone. He is gone. And by the looks of it, he's got actually a really good start. Bonium going to struggle to keep up, as I think possibly Kresjanos had a little look, decided not to go for it. Unsurprisingly, it would be a pretty catastrophic idea if I'm being totally honest. Whoa, we're going 3 wide at turn 3. That's a horrible, horrible idea, but they've somehow managed to make it work. John has launched one up the inside and managed to get the place done. Snaff and Alligator. Snaff's going to have to go around the outside if he wants to try and pull this off on the AlphaTauri, and yes, he does. The Alpine doing an absolutely stellar job, and indeed, Jackalacco is going to be able to go for it as well down the inside. So it's been an absolutely horrible 2 corners. My apologies for the AlphaTauri. Just behind as well, we got Hazard, Kadem and Prodigy almost trying the exact same thing in an even tighter, more narrow section of track. And obviously, that comes out very quickly. Oh my god, we've just scored back-to-back in two consecutive minutes. Come on, you Spurs. That is absolutely stunning. Either way, it has significantly slowed down here already as most drivers are beginning to try and settle in. J-Horse doing a pretty good job out of the back at the moment. He's currently P4 and just holding on to the back of Kresjanos very nicely. He'll be hoping to try and keep that position for as long as he can. And by the looks of it, just back here, John's going for it. Can he get it done with the purple sector one? It was clearly quickly enough, but not quite able to pull it off there, Anthony. Getting the good inside line. Possible switch back on, maybe. Oh, what's happening just up here? J-Horse has managed to get past Kresjanos, ladies and gentlemen. Very good move from him. I'm not quite sure how it must have happened. It must have been just a significantly better exit for the Aston Martin driver, and he gets himself up into P3. He'll be more than happy with that, and now will try and chase down Bonium, who has been unable to keep on the back of Pablos. Currently 1.5 seconds away from everybody else. Kresjanos sitting just behind, and oh, a big mistake, even a bigger mistake from the Mercedes there. Bonium currently off the track, and he's just trying to rejoin, and he's going to slot in just behind Balance. And with the ball, that might be investigated as the Alfa Romeo driver has to take evasive action onto the grass. That's going to lose him a position there to Anthony. But Bonium just getting himself back and slotted into place. So J-Horse now up to P2, has the opportunity to try and close down Pablos, who's currently extending his lead as we speak. 2.1 seconds that gap now, as we're seeing Bonium fall down the order. He's made another crucial mistake out of turn 2 and into 3, so he's falling all the way down, and his rears will be lit up on fire now. And it's going to be just a day that gets worse and worse for him. And Ballant having an absolute nightmare as well as John. What on earth's happened there? John currently off on the grass, and he's going to lose even more places, possibly even one to the Aston Martin. Jackalacco is going to have to swoop around the outside if he wants to try and get the move done, but it's going to be pretty well defended by the Alfa Romeo. But I think he might get a little bit stuck here behind the Red Bull. He's going to have to try and get out of this incident, but it's not quite going to be as easy as he would have hoped, and he is just about going to get it round the outside. And with a hopefully a good run out of this final corner, he might just be able to start putting the pressure on the back of the Red Bull. I think he might be able to here. It's a good bit of slipstream and maybe a little bit of... Oh, safety car. Full safety car. We've got a full safety car, ladies and gentlemen. Big error there by Cheetah. I'm guessing a slide. Well, actually, that's a really random place. That's the DRS straight. How's that even happened? I don't know. I'll have to watch that replay if it gets posted anywhere as to sort of what happened there, because that was so weird. Right, so quite a few drivers already packed up behind the back of the grid, as everybody seems to be alternating positions as they try and get themselves into the correct spots. And looking at tyres, it's quite good, if anybody, for the Alpine Snaff. He's on 6-lap-old intermediates, and he's currently P4. Got 4 drivers behind him that are yet to pit. So he's in a pretty solid position at the moment. Jackalacco as well, Hazard as well. I'd say it's almost a bit of a challenge really now for Pablos, J-Horse, Kresjanos, because they've got to now get into the pit lane and get out of the pit lane as quickly as they can, as they all opt to do under this safety car. So Pablos, J-Horse, Kresjanos, Snaff in, Ballant in. Is everybody coming in? Everybody's coming in. Oh, so there's clearly a strategy call here. It's still a swap to new inters for everybody. Everybody swaps to fresh inters. Okay, so is everybody thinking we can run these to the end? I'm guessing so. Well, quite a few people have done sort of 13, 14 laps. Or just ticked over onto 13 laps on the intermediate tyres. So it must be possible to, you know, do 2 more laps on top of that. So everybody thinking this is our chance to get in before the end of the race, hopefully. Albeit no safety cars, no more pit stops from here. Just realised I don't really know why I'm wearing headphones when I can't hear anything in them. I need to figure out where my PS4 controller's gone because it's disappeared. Either way, new driver leading us off. It's going to be John that takes us away this time round. Caden as well in P2. Pablos in P3, so he hasn't lost too much. Downside is, though, J-Horse has managed to come out, obviously not behind Pablos. He's come out 3 places lower. He's got the name I'm not even going to try and pronounce, and then Maul. Now, those 2 guys are on the same lap inters, so they're going to have to pit again. Those tyres aren't lasting. When's the logical time for them to pit? Because it would have been just then. I'm guessing they have to be betting on another safety car. In fact, yeah. They can't not be betting on it. Oh my god, it's 3-1. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, they've got to be betting on another safety car. Otherwise, that was a terrible, terrible idea to stay out. Which, I mean, pretty good idea to bet on another safety car. We've had 2 already, and we're not even halfway through this race. Give it another lap and a half, and we will be. So it's exactly a stupid idea to stay out. I think everybody else has just gone defensive in their strategies. Which I think is probably valid, because also you don't want to end up having to make a horrible strategy decision because your bet didn't pull off. They decided to go for the higher probability for lower reward. Safety car in this lap. We'll be getting ready to go once again. We get ready to go once again, and the Alfa Romeo does indeed lead us off and gets an incredibly good start on everybody else. He pretty much frees himself from any trouble immediately straight off the back, and Pablos is going to go for the move immediately. Hangs back a little bit, maybe just struggling with the drag. He might be going for a bit more of a grippy setup, whereas the McLaren has got a bit more top speed, struggling to get past as McLaren. Just makes a slight error as Kresjanos managed to gain lots of positions. J-Horse down a few positions. He's gone all the way down to P8. He was in P5 a moment ago, as Pablos has indeed managed to get past there at the uphill right-hander. Got that move done. The Williams now trying to push onto the McLaren and getting very close. starting to put that pressure on, exactly what he needs to do. Being their mistake there from Maul, that's going to lose him lots and lots of positions as J-Horse able to gain one. Just Anthony behind him now all of a sudden. Two drivers that were very split up from just a moment ago, all of a sudden very, very close to one another, and indeed breathing down each other's necks as Pablos will now be trying to gain on the back of John as quickly as he possibly can, and he's doing so marvelously. It's a second now between those two. Gap-wise, it was about 1.2 just a moment ago, so that is closing down almost immediately as Kadem now putting a little mistake in there. Many people just struggling with lying down the power, and indeed it's causing many people issues. So Pablos goes fastest there, half a second gained in that final sector alone, and I think Kadem is under a lot of threats here. The Ferrari of Kresjanos looking really, really good. Can it swap to the outside? Yes, it can. He's going to have to try and go all the way through. Have the inside line on the left-hander here, and big mistake there. That spins round the Williams. Huge error, and it's another safety car. Well, that didn't last very long, did it? It's Blackbone. Oh, it's Blackbone. One of our front row. Huge thing that's just gone down there. Not sure whereabouts he is. These guys are a lap down after all, I'm fairly certain. Oh dear, oh dear. So we had a lap of racing. Kresjanos and Kadem swapping. I thought we were under safety conditions, but all right. Oh no, I think it was that way around before, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm not too sure actually. What is going on here? John's in. I imagine Kadem will come in as well, yes. So that'll push Kresjanos in as well. Interesting calls. So that pushes J-Horse up to P3, Snaff P4, Anthony P5, and so on and so forth. Bannon moves to P2, so really good position for him. Puts Pablos back up at the top. Now, these guys are going to have 4-lap newer tyres, but they are going to be behind everybody else. So it's going to be quite a big loss for the reward they're going to get. To be honest, I need this race to get a bit more exciting, you know. I mean, I've just seen Blackbone has put in chat. There goes my poll, Mr. Cookie. Hey, you get a graphic at least. And he still gets a point for his pole position. So Blackbone doesn't walk out of this race with absolutely nothing. He walks out with a point. A single point. I know, glorious, isn't it? Oh! Actually, no, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to tell you that yet. You have to wait. Unfortunately, for another 2, 10, 15, 16 laps and interviews. I'm going to tell you right at the very end. Or probably during interviews, because they'll be interested. We got a new interview system as well that I'm looking forward to testing out. I did some testing with our tier 2 commentator. So it works at least. It means I invite people up to the stage, and then rather than sort of just waiting for people to unmute themselves. So hopefully it works a little bit better, and it pings everybody. So everybody in the server could come and listen, or obviously listen on YouTube. But you know, if they haven't been watching the entire stream anyway, then they can just drop in on Discord, which hopefully should increase a bit of audience participation. Also, there is a chat, so obviously as well as YouTube, you can put questions in the chat if you want me to answer them. Jimmy, yes, sure. If Mr. Cookie can somehow pull a blinder from P18 and it being an AI, sure, I'll ask about Steve the dog. But yeah, hopefully that might improve that a little bit, because then people that were racing can like put question in, you know, maybe improve their own race themselves. So that should be interesting. Just whilst we wait on this, I mean, we're going to get started in a moment anyway. I'm just going to take a quick little look at the driver standings, just by myself. You don't have to be able to read them. So Mr. Cookie was on 75 points. He's going to get none. Kresjanos is going to get somewhere in the way of 20 points. So Kresjanos is going to go straight to the top of the tables. But Pavlos was only on 35 points. He's going to get, what, 25? So that's going to be 40. That's going to be 60. So he's going to probably sit around P4, P5-ish. So not too bad for an afternoon's work, or an evening's work for these guys anyway. And even though it is wet, they stay completely dry. In fact, actually, they probably stay wet because they get so like sweaty. I know I certainly do. Like the moment I sit in my rig, I can start dripping. I put an aircon unit like in front of my face. It's glorious in the sun. Either way, enough of that deliberation whilst we wait for that safety car to get going again. We've actually got some racing, so let's talk about the racing. Hayden's got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring the yellow flags. That means he overtook before the start-finish line. Unfortunately for him, that is completely true, and does indeed come with a 5-second time penalty. Pavlos immediately has started running away with this race. 0.8 of a second. I imagine he'll start pulling away further as the race continues. J-Horse catching pretty nicely to the front of the Red Bull there. I imagine a move will be made in very short time. Big mistake there from Alligator. I think he's just lost 2 places in the matter of moments. Kresjanos all the way down in P16 after he came in. So all of a sudden it's actually going to look like a pretty big objective for him to try and get himself into any kind of good position. Thing is, right, as we're saying, oh yeah, these tyres, all they're 6 laps in. They're not. They're like 3-lap olds, because they've been under so many safety car laps that they'd have basically had no wear on them. These are practically fresh tyres for a load of these guys. They did 1 racing lap and that was it. And now they're back racing again. Hopefully we stay racing from here on out. So that's what 4 safety cars we've had. So I imagine, don't get me wrong, safety cars on reduced, and I know it's on reduced because I put it on reduced. And yet it is still, it's just been an incident race. It's just been a high incident race. I think the Red Bull just looking to defend there, electing not to go for it, even though J-Horse is going to go for it. Backs out in the first half of the corner, really. It was kind of a move, but didn't really turn into one. Instead, he's going to look for turn 3 to be his source of opportunity. He's going to go all the way around the outside, which means he's going to have to go around the outside at 4 as well. And I don't think it's quite going to pull off. No, it's going to be even worse. He's going to get on the grass. And it just goes from bad to worse for J-Horse. One silly little mistake, and it causes everything to go wrong. Snaff there, taking up that P3 position because of that incident. J-Horse just making a crucial error, and possibly got pushed out by Balin. I'm not too sure. Our camera angle didn't really give us a good opportunity to be able to see that, so I'm not going to throw accusations around that I don't know if they're true. So we're going to brush past that nice and swiftly. Just behind our Henson, I think, just losing a place there to Hazard as he begins to push forward continuously. And I think, to be honest, oh, John just there. Oh, that's close. Little bit of contact there between him and the Mercedes. I don't really know who to pin that to. Either way, J-Horse just in front. Is he going to get himself up back into P3? Yes, he is. So he's going to have to do it all over again. Hi, Blackbone. How are you, mate? saw what happened. What happened actually? We didn't actually catch the incident. Sort of what caused the crash or the DNF. J-Horse doing a pretty good job at the moment, just trying to close that gap down to Snaff. Slightly further behind though, and John's managed to get himself back past Bonium after Bonium slotted himself nicely past a couple of corners ago, just prior to this lap. As I think John's going to go for the move on Prodigy here. Yes, he is. That's a dangerous little spot to go for a move, but he's managed to pull it off with very high success as well. No incident there. Absolutely, I don't think there was any contact at all even, which is surprisingly rare. I tried to pass the Alpha. There was an Aston. We did contact, and I couldn't catch the car. Oh, that's a shame. That's always an annoying one. I saw you and Mr. Cookie having a chat, and I thought, oh well, at least you walk out with a point, and you seem pretty happy with that. Oh, big mistake there from Prodigy. That allows Bonium straight through. And I think this is just the race of mistakes, as J-Horse, I think, is going to go for it once again. He's going to go to the inside. Can he get it working this time round? No, the Red Bull is going to still get the better exit, but it's going to be once again the switchback for the Aston Martin, and he's going to get it through this time. No following each other through the corner and into the next. J-Horse secures P2 comfortably with that move. So J-Horse coming back pretty decently, not getting on the grass this time. He'll be most happy with that. I had my first pole. At least I had my first pole. To be honest, yeah, it was a good pole position. It was a very good lap, to be fair. I mean, when you've got J-Horse and Cookie surprised about a time, I take that as a fat W. Just behind though, I think Snaff is getting past Balin. Indeed he is. He's going to have to go. He's got the inside for this corner. He went the outside of the last one. Very good on the brakes, but it is going to open the opportunity up for the switchback. It's a good run by the Alpine. He's going to have to then take it long, unless he can try a possible another switchback. No, not quite. So Snaff is going to have to subdued for P4 for now. Balin doing a good enough job to keep himself in P3 for now. A surprise as well. Yeah, I can imagine. I saw it come up and I was like, damn, good time. Snaff just looking a little bit offensive, but not really going for any moves. TPO Anthony starting to get in on that fight as well, so we'll keep watching that. But ever so slightly, just for the moment, we're just going to just pop back to P6, 7 and 8. John Hazard and our Henson currently scrapping it out. They're kind of just splitting up sort of as I came to them, unfortunately. Jackalacco and Prodigy very close to each other as well. They're putting a surprising amount of pressure on each other, and Anthony all of a sudden, this is very high pressure on the back of the Alpine. Can Snaff hold off the McLaren? Can he overtake the Red Bull? He's in a very difficult position right now where he's got to try and do multiple things at once, and I'm not quite sure how he's going to be able to do either of them. Well, he's done a pretty good job out of that corner and just keeping the McLaren at bay, and I think that's going to just have to be his objective for the most part of the rest of the laps that are yet to come. Hold off what's behind you, try and catch up to what's in front. Issue is holding off just makes you slower at trying to catch up. Game of 2 losses, honestly. It's a game of 2 losses. Well, these drivers, I'm going to say, probably the best battle to watch, because look at that. Anthony soared out the outside. I didn't even see him going for that move, but he's going to have to try and take it through the next batch of corners, and I think Snaff has done a very good job defending that. Yes, he has. He keeps P4 for now. But as I say, it's only for now. Anthony showing that he's got good pace, and he's very interested in getting past, but it's not quite to be as of right now. And it quietens down once again. I need another drink, man. It's just Oh, is he going to go for it? Is he going to go for it? Is he going to go for it? He's going to have to go to the outside. Snaff's doing a very good job in defence. Running it right around the outside of the McLaren, using every last inch of the track. He gets the inside for the next corner. Can he get the acceleration he needs? It looks a little twitchy in the mid part of the corner. That's going to wait until the next one. And I think, yes, finally the McLaren does indeed get past. Opening opposite also. John beginning to get in on this fight. That could be interesting to see how that develops as well. That's all of a sudden, once again, another three-way fight. And I think John is going to go for the move. Almost immediately, he's going to try and get the slipstream of the McLaren. Uses the McLaren absolutely perfectly to aid his pass through. And there we go. The Alpine sits comfortably in P6. Oh, yeah. Not exactly where he wanted, though, was it? Yeah, some really great battles. This is what I say. The wet weather brings out the battles. Because didn't help my game died on itself. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, I mean, it brings out the good battles because people don't have the aid of DRS. Oh, Prodigy out. What caused that? That was quite a major accident. He's just gone sliding in. I think he's just lost it. And it's another full-blown safety car. Christ. How many more of these we can have? I'll turn the music back on and just try and figure out. So Pablos, J-Horse, Anthony, Balance stays out, John, Snaff, all in. Everybody's coming in. Yeah, unsurprisingly as well. This was kind of what I was expecting to happen. It was a bit of a halfway house because the tyres would last. But I think, yeah, it's logical for everybody to come in and just one final fresh set to go for the ends. What's it going to be? It's going to be about 4 laps of racing, really. Maybe 5. Depending on how quickly we can get this safety car under wraps. Do apologize me there. I'm very tired. I've had a very long day. So yeah, most cars have hit. I think Balin might be the only driver not to. Yeah. The only. Oh no. Manique as well. But that's AI. That's AI. So yeah, Balin, only driver to not come in. Oh, I think that puts him in rather nasty predicament. Right, okay. My guess is one of two things can happen. Either Pablos wins by a country mile, or J-Horse just about snags the victory, in my opinion, if he doesn't make a crucial mistake. Anthony might come in. I mean, he's been doing really well at the moment. I mean, it's just been so weird. Everybody has been up at the top, everybody's been at the back. Except for Pablos. Literally except for Pablos. That guy has been like consistently top 5 the entire race. Just without even thinking about it. Oh, Maul, 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. That's the last thing you want, Jesus. Why did he do it again? Must have picked up damage. Also, you notice how many penalties there were. A moment ago. All gone. Everybody served them in the pit lane. Quite funny. Just trying to think, how well is Banning going to do here? Because what's it going to be? We're going to get going next lap, right? That's all the 29, all the 30, all the 31, all the 32. 5 laps. How well can Ballard hold on for 5 laps? In my opinion, top 8 would be good. I think top 8, if you can get top 8, that's like solid. And you know, take it. Be happy with it. I'd say to finish halfway up would be, yeah, a really solid position to finish. Well, I say that, we might not get going because Manique and Cookie are still absolutely miles off from everybody else. It might only be 4 laps, you know. I think it's only going to be 4. Oh, it's only going to be 4. The AI drivers are too slow. This is why I think we should increase the AI speed, because it's now literally just AIs that are slowing us down. I think Cookie, if you're watching this, which you might be, you might not be, I have absolutely no idea. Increase AIs, or let us increase AIs, because this kind of stuff happens, and we could have got going that lap, but we didn't. We'll get going next lap. Brilliant. I've been watching like the concurrent viewers, and like just as soon as the safety car comes in, it just plummets. So funny. Like we've been consistently like 8, 9, and then it just plummeted to 4 a moment ago, and now it's back up to 6 again. Gotta say, these are better numbers than usual, guys. This is like what we want. So keep it up. Proud of you. Because it's been dodgy. It's been dodgy. Can't lie. Oh, yo, Gato is struggling a little bit. Let me give it a whack. Yeah, that's back up to 30 frames. Nice. Right. Should get the message. I think we've already had the message, sorry. I'm so blind, honestly. It's problematic. Right. Here we go. Fallon will lead us off. But hopefully, I pray, the final time. When's he gonna go? He goes very early on. Pablos reads it very well. In fact, I think he might even get past here before the start-finish line. He's going to have to wait just a moment. And indeed, Pablos is going to go for the move immediately into turn 1, I imagine. It's pretty good down the straight by the Red Bull, but I don't think he's going to have the cornering abilities. Just left enough room for the AlphaTauri to be considered legal, and I think J-Horse is going to soar around the outside. Can he take the position off of Pablos? No, he goes sideways and gets on the grass, and it's just gone from hero to 0 for J-Horse as he falls to P6. Just in front, though, Anthony Ballin spins off, and he's just recovering there, and it's an absolute carnage in the middle. There's so many drivers trying to just get themselves into any kind of working order. John in P4 at the moment. He's got J-Horse just behind him. He's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, they make huge amounts of contact. J-Horse skating across the grass. Picks up a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. But I don't think it's exactly his fault. And he's going to spin round once again. And it's gone so desperately wrong for them. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. John has fallen into the back. And so has J-Horse. Indeed left the session. And he will just run as AI for the rest of the race. It's gone terribly for both drivers who had done so well to get themselves up into good positions. And it all unfolds after the safety car. Now all of a sudden it's Anthony and Snaff that are in great positions to try and get podium places here. Henson leaving quite a big gap to those front runners. So the podium is looking in a fairly consistent. I highly doubt that's going to change all that much unless somebody has another major accident, which, as we've seen, perfectly possible. Perfectly possible. So in this midfield is where all chaos is about to unfold. The rain still steeping and soaring. Jackalacco right in the middle of this. He's going to have to try and avenge his teammate who's been lost to the war. Both Alfa Romeos out. Maul and John in pretty much successive DNFs. Both of them coming out, and I don't know whether those guys will pick up points. I think they might. They might just be within the time frame. I'm not too certain. If somebody could do the maths on that, that would be absolutely wonderful. But Kresjanos currently has gained quite a number of positions. You remember he was down in P13, P12 a few laps ago. He's now up to P7. Pablos has gone fastest and looks to be running away with this race a little bit. We've got 2 more racing laps to go. Kresjanos looking very punchy on the back there. So's Bonium, 3.5 seconds to 4 tenths, sorry, 3.5 tenths to 4 tenths respectively. So it's almost coming in pairs at the moment, these two. But Bonium doing a much better job at staying on the back of our Henson than Kresjanos is to Jackalacco. In fact, actually, it's about the same at this point. And fairly quiet now on the grid after that absolute calamity of a lap. As most drivers are taking it pretty comfortably at the moment. Nobody wants to go for too outlandish of a move. They've all just witnessed what happened a couple of laps ago, and they know what happens if they go for a move of similar nature. So I think many people might be a little bit more cautious to, you know what, I'm just going to take this a little bit slow. I'm going to wait for the right opportunity to go for this move. The last thing I want to do is go hurtling into a wall and completely ruin my really good position. As Bonium following the back of the Haas. Bonium and our Henson said that he was going to be trundling around right at the back. He's currently P4 and we'll be hoping for a solid position out of it, but he's going to have to do good defending on the Mercedes, who's coming around the outside and I think might be able to get the move done here. Yes, he does. Mercedes a very nice move, but he's not completely out of the danger zone just yet. Our Henson does still have the rest of this lap to try and catch up, to try and bring him back down once again. We only have this lap remaining, but it almost looks like Jackalacco is going to try and get past our Henson instead of our Henson getting past Bonian. Kresjanos as well, still rounding out the back of this little pack, and it's looking so dense, especially between the two midfield in the middle of the drivers. This is so close. The fact that this is final lap racing is utterly unbelievable. I don't really know what's to come out of all of this, but most of the drivers seem to be running in fairly meticulous order, and they don't seem to be going for any outlandish moves. There's not much more opportunity to be able to go for anything, so we're going to have to cut right back to the front again. He has led practically this entire race, being utterly dominant at the front. Pablos wins in Spain as Anthony comes across P2. And how's it going to be towards the midfield here? I think it is indeed going to be Bonium, then our Henson, then Jackalacco, then Kresjanos, as drivers start filing across the line here in interesting manners, to say the least, as I think, there we go, that is indeed everybody across the line. Well, congratulations to the AlphaTauri driver, who once again proves his worth and has been in a very, very good performance. So with that, Pablos wins after starting P5 on the grid and picking up fastest lap. Anthony in P2 for the McLaren and Snaff P3 for Alpine. Boney in P4 for Mercedes and R. Henson P5 for Haas. Giacolacco P6 for Aston Martin and Caden P7 for McLaren. Kresjanos P8 for Ferrari and Ballint P9 for Red Bull. The Williams P10, still don't know what that is. Hazard P11 for Alpine, Alligator P12 for AlphaTauri, and J-Horse P13 for Aston Martin. Manique in P14 for Ferrari, and Mr. Cookie P15 for Williams. John P16 for the Alfa Romeo, and Maul P17 for Alfa Romeo as well. Prodigy P18 for Red Bull, and Blackbone P19 for Mercedes, as well as Cheetah P20 for Haas. With Maul and back DNFing, John also DNFing, but still picks it up as +4 laps. Right, join us back in just a moment whilst I sort out some wonderful interviews. Hello, you join us back for some post-race interviews. In fact, I've actually only got one person to interview today, but you'll be most happy to hear it was our winner today, Pablos. A really, really strong performance from you. Hello, Pablos. Could not hear me on Discord. Right, how random is that? Does switching to this microphone help Jimmy? Hello, Pablos. Still haven't heard anything. Right. Now, that isn't exactly helpful because if I show you my... I'm green. I'm coming up green. I'm talking. Um, can you hear me? Oh, right. Okay. So we've got audio issues. Right. If that's the case. Join us back in a second. I'll try and fix this. Righty, take two, everybody. Welcome back.
Yeah.
So as I was saying before, we've only got one person to interview today, but luckily enough, it is our winner, Pablos. It was a really strong and dominant display overall. What did you make of it?
Uh, yeah, it's good. Like, I think there's one part on the track where I struggled, and that was it came before the second DRS. I think I lost it like 4 times every lap, and I managed to gain it back. I had very high wings compared to most. I think, especially the Max, they had lower wings. It was quite easy to pull away.
Yeah, we saw you struggling down some of the straights sometimes, but overall, after qualifying, what did you make of that first? I'm guessing that you went for a very wet setup on qualifying. How did that fare?
Yeah, I think I think I ran like 50-45 wing. That didn't really put up a good fight. I was P5, and then I think I could have done better, but it's one of them really. And then going into the main race, I lost a place straight away to Jay Hawes, and then I managed to get up to P2 by the end of it.
Um, and then as well, the safety car onslaught that we've had. How do you navigate sort of changing a strategy that often?
Yeah. I thought with the first one, I didn't think there was going to be another. I thought there might be another late safety car, so I thought that some of the drivers behind us were going to do a lot better on the faster tyres, but that weren't really shown. Then the other one came out, and it sort of helped me, and then the others it just kept coming in and in and in. And I think when there was like a few people in front of me twice, especially the Red Bull, I don't know why he didn't pit, but it sort of came quite annoying with people in front of you who were like on older tyres because I had J Horse right behind me. He nearly got me and then he spun.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you were in clear air, you pulled away. You pulled away quite a lot at the start. I'm guessing you were probably hoping for no safety cars at all.
Yeah, it's sort of, for me, good thing compared to Brazil because I got messed up, went down to sixth, and then eventually got a 5 second pen, got back up to first, and lost me win because of multiple pen safety cars right at the end, where we'd only
Hmm.
have 2 laps of racing. So it was good to finally have a chance of trying to pull away.
Yeah, I mean, with this result today, it's obviously doing you massive favours in the championship. Do you see yourself as a serious contender over the coming races?
Uh, yeah, I think with Bahrain missing that out, especially the sprint,
Hmm.
it's annoying, but it's one of them really. I think I can win it, but I'd say Mr.
Yeah,
Cookie's good. Challenge.
yeah, you need a good amount of recovery. Speaking of which, when you saw Mr. Cookie have his nightmare disconnect, did that bring a smile to your face?
To be honest, I thought he was the lobby leader, so I thought it was going to be desync and the whole lobby was going to reset. I was fine.
Oh well. Other than
But
that, should we get your three-word race roundup?
uh, carnage, chaos, victory.
Sums it up about right. Well, congratulations, Fablos, on winning. And we look forward to
Wait.
seeing you next week.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, guys. And that just about sums up our race. Thank you all very much for watching. I've been the Characteristics. This has been Bear Racing League. Thank you, and good night.